Get on those power scaling sliders and go all the way up. Today, I'm doing some holy, godly, divine anime recommendations about 10 anime where the main character is basically a god. Let's go. Let's dive away from the holy stuff for some necromancy stuff. A legendary necromancer known as the Corpse God gets a surprise second act. After dying in an epic battle, he wakes up reincarnated as Polka Shinoyama, a kid in modern Tokyo. Just trying to figure out how to use his new non-undead body, he immediately draws the attention of supernatural factions who want him gone. This includes Misaki, a spirit-seeking high schooler who's instantly hostile.
ありがとう。こんなにも魔力に満ちた場所に連れてきてくれて。
The fun here is watching an all-powerful being stuck in a scrawny kid's body trying to navigate high school and supernatural hit squads. And this came in an era where isekai was spamming this trope. But for me, this still managed to be original. The contrast between his ancient, calm demeanor and the chaos of modern life creates a really nice plot thread. And the whole supporting cast, especially the grudge-holding Misaki, bring their own chaos. This is one clever mix of supernatural mystery and fish-out-of-water comedy that keeps you guessing who, or what, will try to kill the god next.
死ね。
不敬な死ねってなんでござるか。いくらなんでもボキャブラリーがなさすぎで。の
Oh yeah, the classic isekai that explains the plot in the title itself. So, your class gets isekai'd and everyone gets a cool superpower, except you. And that's the rough start for Yogiri Takato. Left for dead by his friends when no magical gift appears for him, his trip gets even worse when a dragon shows up. But every cloud has a silver lining. He doesn't need a fancy power. Yogiri's innate ability is to simply end anything he perceives as a threat. So the guy is basically a death punch man.
だから動くな。死ね。え？動くなって言っただろ。
Let's be clear, this isn't a show about complex power scaling or moral dilemmas. It's about watching an unstoppable force meet an easily movable objects. Seriously, it's one heck of an OP guy clears the way so easily kind of ride. The fun is in the sheer absurd escalation. Monsters, arrogant heroes, even the gods who run the place, they all make the fatal mistake of seeing the quiet kid as a target. Honestly, it's kind of nice to see a power scaling anime that doesn't shy away from power scaling.
そのものは魔王である。地上に生きるすべての人類が彼に抗うほどの力を所持できないがゆえに、そのものはカンピオーネである。
Who's more powerful than a god? A god slayer. That's right, let's slay some gods. Campione is about a god slayer named Gado. After killing off a god, Gado becomes a god slayer who has the ability to slay any gods in the vicinity. But here's the great power comes with great responsibility. With great power comes hunting gods and killing them while getting kissed by girls. Yeah, screw Spider-Man, this is the true responsibility of power. Here we have a guy who started off as weak, but earns his power as well as his first kiss in the very first episode itself. To be honest, Gado has power more than a divine being, as he is a person created in order to slay the gods themselves. Similar to a lot of shows on this list, Campione is also a harem anime, because in Anime Theory 101, the more power you get, the more Riz you develop.
バカめ、俺は死んでもギブアップなどしねえ。
Ever reincarnated so hard you break the grading system? That's Anos Voldgoid, the original Demon King who sacrificed himself for peace, only to wake up 2,000 years later to find his magic considered weak and his history rewritten as a fraud. My guy enrolls at the Demon King Academy to reclaim his throne and does the good old OP guy stuff. Meet girls, make them fall in love with him, and go smack the living hell out of anyone who opposes him.
なんだそれは。初めて見るか。
Okay, yes, it's another power fantasy, but when the MC is this gloriously unapologetic about his god tier status, it's a blast. It's like the show itself realizes how absurd it is, and then decides to turn itself into a parody of the whole OP protagonist trope. Anos isn't just strong. Dude's confidence is the entire plot. Watching him deadpan his way through every impossible magic test or instantly revive someone he just killed to prove a point pretty much shows that you shouldn't mess around with this Demon King.
今逃げるなら見逃して差し上げても
Oh wait, another anime where the title does the job for me. But for those who want some context, this is about Ard Meteor, who just wanted a friend. Is that too much to ask when you're the reincarnation of a being so powerful they call you the Demon Lord? Hoping for a fresh start 3,000 years later, he's born into a normal family. But there's a catch. He's still ridiculously overpowered in an era where everyone else is basically a tutorial NPC.
初めて名前を呼んでくださいましたねイリーナさん
Watching Ard navigate this new world is a blast. The show cleverly uses his overwhelming power not just for spectacle, but to create constant, awkward obstacles to his simple goal. The comedy lands because his frustration is so relatable. We've all felt out of place, just maybe not because we could accidentally vaporize a continent. I think it's nice to focus on a trope like this and focus on the absurdity of it all, rather than just make another edgy show about an OP guy wanting to conquer the world.
配菜自己送上门了。
最烦别人打扰我吃干脆面。
Okay, now let's move a little right from Japan and land in China, because this is one heck of a Chinese anime. This is for you who think being an overpowered protagonist is all fun and games. Meet Wang Ling, a high schooler who seems spiritually weak but is actually a walking apocalypse. To keep his world-ending power in check, he relies on a special amulet, but it's failing, and his own emotions are making it worse. Now, he's in a race against time with his dad to fix it before everything goes kaboom.
Hey.
Yes, it starts with a familiar overpowered MC trope, but this time the OP guy just wants to save the world because, he's too overpowered? But stick around past the halfway point, because that's where it flips the script. The show isn't just a gag reel, it gets surprisingly serious, diving into the weight and consequences of having godlike power in a way most comedies gloss over. The animation in the climactic scenes is genuinely stunning, and the Chinese animators really know how to deliver some movie quality level spectacle.
取らなくて大丈夫のようだではなぜ草を食べているかって暇だからだよ意味はないけど何かしてないと不安だからなって誰に言ってんだ俺
Hey, we're talking about everybody's favorite slimy main character next. Ever been so bored with life that getting stabbed and reborn as a slime sounds like an upgrade? That's the deal for Satoru Mikami, a salaryman who wakes up in a fantasy world as a gooey blue blob named Rimuru. With powers to absorb anything and a new bestie, a sealed dragon named Veldora, he sets out to build a monster-friendly nation.
なんということでしょうあんなにかっこよくて男らしかったのにかっこ自称かっこ閉じ今ではこんなに流線的な洗練されたスタイルに
This show is the ultimate power fantasy done right. Rimuru's journey from adorable slime to founding a nation is packed with creative world building and a massive lovable cast of monsters. I got thrown off at first because the main character was a slime, but man, I'm so glad I didn't miss this show. Sure, the pacing has its moments, but watching Rimuru casually solve problems with overwhelming power and charisma is endlessly entertaining. And this guy power scales so fast, I don't even think his enemies can keep up with him.
では皆至高の御方に忠誠の儀を
第1第2第3階層守護者シャルティア・ブラッドフォール御身の前に
Come on, everyone knows the story of Momonga, an average salaryman stuck in his max-level skeletal avatar when his favorite VR MMO, Yggdrasil, shuts down. Now, he's not just a player in a dead game, he's an all-powerful overlord in a living, breathing fantasy world, complete with NPCs who've gained sentience and see him as their absolute ruler. He has one mission: figure out what happened and carve out a kingdom in this strange new reality.
プライマルファイアエレメント双子を攻撃せよ
The whole game world becomes real is not something that I liked, but shows like this always take me by surprise. If you are one of those OP protagonist lovers, the sheer joy comes from watching Momonga, a hilariously pragmatic and internally panicking everyman, navigate world domination. The story smartly focuses on the process of conquest, the political maneuvering, the reactions of the people living inside the world, and the darkly comedic gap between his overwhelming power and his regular human anxieties. It's honestly one heck of a nice villain story.
物語に陰ながら介入し実力を見せつけていく存在
Minoru Kaganao spent his whole life training in secret, desperate for ultimate power while pretending to be a totally average guy. After a fatal truck accident, he's reborn in a magical world as Sid Kaganao. Finally, getting the power he craved, he invents a secret identity as the mastermind Shadow and a fictional evil cult to fight. For fun. But turns out the cult he made up is real and suddenly he gets to be the hero.
消えることなく僕を突き動かした。強くなるために必要なものは全力で習得した。
This show is a masterclass in taking the overpowered isekai trope and cranking it to 11 with a straight face. Just like Misfit of Demon King Academy, this does it so well it turns the story into a parody. Sid is less a hero and more of a Chunibyo's disaster who accidentally becomes the world's most effective edgelord. At least that's the best way to put it. The comedy here is in the glorious disconnect between his disillusional, cringed roleplay and the dead serious, awestruck reactions of everyone around him. If you want a nice OP protagonist story, give this one a go.
新規の遊び草にもなりゃしね
Meet Yato, the broke, homeless, and utterly forgotten delivery god of urban legends. His divine business card promises miracles for a 5 yen, but his real dream is a shrine and actual worshippers. After his fed-up sacred weapon abandons him, he meets Hiyori Iki, a normal girl who takes a car hit for him. She survives, but her soul now pops out of her body at random. To fix her, Yato needs a new weapon partner, and Hiyori is dragged into a supernatural mystery with gods.
ヤトさんは神様なんでしょ。助けて。
金
お金取るんですか。
それなどただで叶う願いなんかあるか
Like I said, dude's a literal god, so he's got literal god problems. Yato's charm is his scrappy, deeply human desperation. The show brilliantly balances laugh-out-loud comedy, often at Yato's expense, with sudden gut punch moments of emotional depth, especially when exploring the tragic backstories of the spirit weapons. The core trio's found family dynamic is the heart of it all, transforming from a transaction into something genuinely meaningful. It's a god's journey you can't help but root for, proving even divine power needs a little human connection. Who knew godhood could be this relatable?